Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very interesting article coming from Al Mayadeen, from an Arab independent media outlet. Well, it was taken from Russia Today. So I tell you all this so you can have a little bit of skepticism, of course, or more, depending on what kind of information you have regarding this media outlets, and maybe if you know something about this article. So it's about a US Army veteran who fought on the Ukrainian side almost for 1 year, as a volunteer. And then he somehow switched sides, but not to fight, he just defected to Russia, and he is interviewed by Russia Today. And this ex-US military is going to tell us certain things that are very, I don't want to say disturbing. For me, I mean, nothing is just news because someone will do this. And he talks about, according to him, stating that the Kiev forces have a Nazi problem. He just reports what he saw during this year that he fought on Ukrainian side, the attitudes, how he witnessed some, fast processes, bam, 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 and how some Ukrainians viewed the Russians and so on. So let's get going with this article. As I said, I have it from Al Mayadeen right here. It's from today, the 28th of February 2022, and I also have it from Russia Today, the same 28th of February. I'm going to read it from Al Mayadeen. And this is Kiev forces have a big Nazi problem, former US soldier tells RT, Russia Today. A former US soldier that served in the Ukrainian armed forces admits to having seen atrocities and massive signs of Nazism festering within Kiev's forces. Now, this is former top US official. This is a different thing. Probably this is the guy, I'm not certain. Let's see if he's right here. Yeah, a screen grab from the RT report about the US mercenary who defected to the Russian side aired on 28th of February 2023. Now, I don't know if this is a real guy or not a real, I mean, it is a real guy, but I don't know if this is just one that they, someone say, hey, that's not me, that's someone else. Well, anyway, I'm just reporting what these guys are saying, okay? A former US soldier who used to be a mercenary for the Ukraine for nearly a year, serving in numerous units, told Russia Today in an interview that there was a prevalent Nazi influence within Kiev's armed forces. John McIntyre, let's say McIntyre. So this is the guy, John McIntyre. Having spent a year among the ranks of Kiev's armed forces, told RT that he had to leave, quote unquote, adding that he, quote unquote, thought I was going to be killed. My family got me $300 to get to Chisinau, Moldova. Then I went to Istanbul and then to Moscow. I don't know if you can make it with $300, but hey, what do I know? Now, the US soldier who previously served in Fort Bliss, Texas for 2 years escaped from Ukraine into Russia after crossing into Moldova, though he did not reveal when he made himself known to Moscow. And I'm quoting, "When I came, I was really surprised. Everybody, I don't think everybody, but anyway, everybody had tattoos and symbolism," end quote. McIntyre revealed, confessing that he did not believe ultra-right ideology was, and I'm quoting, that big of a problem, end quote, for Ukraine until he experienced the situation firsthand. Furthermore, he said he had to conceal his own anti-fascist and communist views so as not to draw too much attention from Ukrainian soldiers, highlighting how some Western mercenaries told him that, and I'm quoting, the Russians aren't the N, we are the N, end quote. McIntyre asserted that he felt compromised, quote unquote, after discussing the war crimes committed by the Ukraine forces with someone, saying he planned on defecting into Russia once he, and I'm quoting, gathered enough intelligence, end quote, despite knowing that whistleblowers are treated worse than spies. And I'm quoting this McIntyre. Anybody who confesses or is known to be about to confess is shot in the back of the head, end quote, he said. A lot of people go missing, including foreigners, end quote. The former US soldier admitted that Ukrainian soldiers habitually use civilians as human shields, adding that he knew people who executed prisoners of war. And I'm quoting, "It is funny to them. It's hatred. They hate the Russian people. They want to kill them. They want to genocide them," end quote, he told Russia Today. He concluded by wondering how the West was supporting, and I'm quoting, "these guys," and wanted them to join NATO, and I'm quoting, "and they can't even follow Geneva Conventions," end quote. The Azov and Aidar battalions, two of the most prominent Neo-N parties, have been accused of greasing bullets with pig fat to shoot Muslims, have been active on the ground in disenfranchised areas in eastern Ukraine. Before the said area joined Russia by popular referendum earlier this year, the battalions are officially bodies within the Ukrainian army. The U.S. Congress passed in June a resolution intended to block U.S. military funding the Ukrainian army, essentially blocking such training and weaponry from reaching the hands of the Azov battalion in particular. Now, I don't know, I have a little personal, misunderstanding. I understand it, I just play. This is what I want to say. Remember when the Azov battalion surrendered in Azovstal, in Mariupol? There were about 2,564 people that came out of those catacombs. They were not all Azov battalion's combatants. There were some civilians, there were doctors, and whomever was over there. But among those, there were some Azov commanders, correct? Correct. And they were captured. They were taken into custody, right? Interrogated, I'm pretty sure. And then what happened to those? Do you remember? If you don't remember, if you don't know, I will remind you and I will tell you. They were exchanged. About 5 or 6 were exchanged, if you remember, in Istanbul. That's where they are. And you know what they got in return? They got that Nevjemchuk, Chepchemchuk, Kamchemchuk, Komkomkunchuk. The guy, that Ukrainian, how do you call it, congressman. He was in Ukraine, got dual citizenship, businessman. Again, Nevdemchuk or something like this is his name. And they exchanged that guy plus some other ones for these commanders. Now, between you and I, those Azov battalion commanders, by convention, they agreed to stay in, not to return to Ukraine. So they supposedly are with their families right now in Istanbul, over there, not joining the fight again. Okay, that's fair, that's good, if that was determined. This is my problem. If you, as a country, as a leader, Putin and Russia, or Russia and Putin, claim that those guys are Nazis, right? Then how would you do this? How would you, and those are commanders, are not, rank and file, little dudes over there. How would you exchange them? I don't, for me that didn't sit well at all. Because if you say that you are fighting this war for such an important goal to denazify Ukraine, those guys should be at least, you call them mercenaries, you call them criminals, you release them. I expected, this is the minimum I expected, those guys to stay in Russia for as long as was necessary, which is forever, videotaped, interrogated, videotaped confessing whatever they didn't do or done. They would confess anything, at gunpoint you confess everything, and after the proper, accommodations. And after you do that, you make that person sign a lot of documents, And then after that, after you have nothing to get out of that, you put it on court. You try that person. You try that person as a whatever you said they are. And after that, you provide whatever conviction is necessary. Not guilty, guilty, whatever is going to be. And then you release them, or they pay whatever they need to pay. But they were exchanged for that Nevjemchuk, that was like thugs dealing with thugs. I never liked that. It was, you say you want to denazify that, and those are criminals of war and whatever they are, mercenaries. And how many other people were captured by the Russians and they were called mercenaries, and after mercenaries they will be shot and not even court-martial, just huh? Any of those? No, I said they will not be, but I thought at least they will suck all the information. And probably they already exchanged. Some of it were, some British, I think they were exchanged. But anyway, in this case, I don't know if this guy is who he is, who says he is, I'm assuming. Anyway, and he says all these things. He's going to say whatever he wants, whatever he needs, whatever he knows that the Russians want. The same is true when the Ukrainians capture a Wagner group guy or whatever unfortunate dude. I say unfortunate, but I don't know if he committed anything or not. And then he says everything. He says everything those guys want him to say. And the mass media and the West, see, we told you the Russians are evil. The same thing here. But the Russians did not do that with Ukrainians from the Azov regiment. I didn't see anything about that. No. But there were some videos that I watched actually, saying, one of them was singing the Russian national anthem. But none of them said we're criminals, and they said we're bad, you're good, but these were not official things. So at least this guy said whatever he said. Evidence, just his testimony. But if you look back in history, after the Second World War were a lot of testimonies, if you know what I mean, and they were taken as 100% true. So, yeah, if you corroborate them with reality, then yeah, they're true. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.